Hi, Albert here with Mainland Cycle Center. Today I want to show you a 2016 Kawasaki. This is the Ultra 310X jet ski from Kawasaki, and wow, 310 horsepower on an 11-foot long jet ski. That is just incredible, absolutely amazing. The Kawasaki Ultras are as fast, if not faster, than anything else on the market. These things really run good. They have one of the best rough water hulls, choppy water hulls on the market. Of course, they handle great in smooth water. All watercraft does. They all do very well in smooth water. But this one, the shape of this V hull really has a great reputation as being a very smooth riding, choppy water boat. You've got these spray strips on the front. As water tries to come up the hull, those spray strips knock that water back down, which keeps you from getting a face full of water. So a nice dry ride. Great looking jet ski. This metallic stardust white, so this white paint with a little bit of metallic in it really looks great with the black and the Kawasaki green. Really great looking. This is the X model. So the X model has this straight seat. There is an X special edition. The special edition has a little bit of a kind of a seat back here, and then you have the 310LX, which has a stereo and some speakers and stuff, but it has a really heavily contoured seat. I really like the look of this straight seat the best. I think it's the sleekest and the sportiest looking seat, so I kind of dig it. HydroTurf pads, front and rear, so these mats on here made by HydroTurf, so really nice quality mat on the decks. And then you got two grab handles, one up high, one up low, and that complements the rear retractable boarding step, so for getting on in deep water makes that much easier. Let's see, you've got mirrors, tilting handlebars. These handlebars tilt up and down. Full digital instrumentation. Hopefully you can see that. I know the sun is maybe fighting us a little bit here. But front storage compartment, so you can see your hood opens there. Got a little storage tray here. This is a fire extinguisher compartment. This little tray picks up. And then you've got this massive storage compartment under there. Over 50 gallons of storage underneath the jet ski there. Really does well. The biggest storage compartment of anything on the market. Lots and lots of storage. I can't imagine what you'd want to carry that much, but I guess you do a little traveling or longer distance. We don't tend to do that kind of riding here, but there are some places where you can. Fuel fill, 90 plus octane fuel on these. Do recommend premium fuel. It is a high performance jet ski. This does have forward and reverse, so there's your reverse lever. Just simply brings a bucket down over the jet pump, so it brings this little bucket down which redirects water to help you back up. It's mostly for maneuvering at the boat ramp and that kind of thing. A two-piece seat, so the rear seat pops off here. There's a toolkit underneath there, and then there's a little storage tray there. These little holes here are air intakes to get air into the hull. The motor requires air to run, so you can't just seal this up completely. You do have to be able to get fresh air into the engine compartment. Pop our seats off there. Let's take a look at this motor. So this is a 1500cc inline four-cylinder motor. It's fuel injected. It's a liquid cooled. So it just takes straight gas. Well, older jet skis you had to either fill an oil tank or something. They were 2 strokes. This is now a 4-stroke. So very high reliability. This particular jet ski is, like we said, 310 horsepower. You know, this is the same motor that we use in our non-supercharged jet skis. Essentially, different pistons and cams and stuff, but still 1500cc. So those jet skis without the supercharger are 160 horsepower. When we add the supercharger in the intercooler, we bump that up to 310 horsepower. So how do we do that? What does a supercharger do? Well, a supercharger forces air into the motor. Instead of the the engine having to suck air in and using engine power to draw air in, this one, air is being forced in. So it's helping to push the motor as opposed to the motor working, and so that frees up the engine to make more horsepower. Now, when you compress that air and force it into the motor, that air gets hot. Well, things that are hot tend to expand, and air does the same thing. It expands. And so heat is the enemy of making horsepower. When folks add nitrous to cars and vehicles and motors, what that nitrous does is makes the intake air very cold, which makes it very dense. Things tend to contract when they get hot rather than expand. So the air actually contracts, gets more dense, and you actually get more air in. And that's what makes more horsepower when you add nitrous to a vehicle. Well, in this case, we're blowing the air, pressurizing the air, and forcing it into the motor with the supercharger. But then that air is getting hot, which is kind of a negative effect. So what we have is we have an intercooler. So right back here is an intercooler. It's like a radiator like you'd have on your car, only it's just the opposite. We're using the cool water to cool down the hot air from the supercharger. So that air is being forced into this intercooler under pressure, and it's being cooled back down before it enters the motor, so that we don't lose that horsepower from the hot air. So it makes that air more dense again. And Kawasaki says they can bring that air down to the ambient temperature, or in some cases even lower, depending on the water temperature. So very interesting stuff. Could talk about that for a long time, maybe more of a lesson than you wanted already, but a lot of people don't understand what a supercharger does, or a turbocharger. A supercharger and turbocharger both do the same thing. They force air into the motor, but a supercharger like this has runs off of the engine, and a turbocharger runs off of the exhaust gases. And so sometimes with a turbocharger you can have what we call an exhaust, a turbo lag, where it takes a little bit of, you have to get the engine RPMs up before you start building boost. The superchargers tend to build boost at a much lower RPM. But inline 4-cylinder, really great motors, very durable, very reliable, massive horsepower like we talked about. So there's a little storage compartment in front, plenty big enough to hold a couple of bottles of water. It has 2 keys. I don't have the keys here, they're in the file, but there's a full power key and a reduced power key, smart learning operation key. These are equipped with electronic cruise control, so these up and down buttons here is the cruise control. It also has a wake mode, so for going through a no wake zone you can do this one touch 5 mile an hour wake mode setting, and that'll let you go just 5 miles an hour without touching the throttle if you're going through a no wake zone. I have learned that these will do about 3 miles an hour just at idle, so that may work too. And then you've also got tilt and trim. So the yellow knob here is the trim, and that will raise and lower the nozzle in the back, which can help you get on plane faster, and also can help you have better performance and a better ride depending on the water conditions. This is your stop button. This has a lanyard that slides under here, ties to your wrist. If you fall off, it kills the jet ski. The green button's the start button, so green means go, red means stop. And then this also has a fuel economy mode button, so you can put this in eco mode, and you'll cut back the performance just a little bit in favor of getting more fuel economy. Full digital instrumentation. You've got tachometer, speedometer, clock, hour meter, all of that good stuff and more. But these are really, really fantastic jet skis. They come standard with a 1-year warranty from Kawasaki. Have just a great hull. Really, like I said, known for being a very smooth ride in choppy water. So anyway, that's a look at the 2016 Kawasaki Ultra 310X. We are Mainland Cycle Center. We're located in Marque, Texas. We're about 30 minutes south of downtown Houston, just off of I-45. You can find us online at mainlandcyclecenter.com, by phone at 409-948-4969, and we would just love it if you'd give us a call, shoot us an email, or even better, come by and see us in person here at Mainland Cycle Center, where we'd love to help any way that we can. Hey, thanks for watching.